All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about our first core value. Now, I want to reiterate the importance of these core values. These are going to be how you operate on a day-to-day basis, meaning every action that you take on building your business and operating your business and scaling your business should align with your core values. Now, I'm giving you 4. These 4 have worked extremely well for me over the course of my career. It took a long time to develop these. And what I want you to do is, just as you would take any other aspect of a course, adopt these into your daily life and develop your own version of them down the road. I don't need you or want you to adopt my core values and think that's the only way of operating. No, not true. But you came to this course for a reason, and that's to get help. And what I want to stress to you right now is that core values are a critical piece of building you either from start or rebuilding you from wherever you are right now with the humble opinion that you came here for help. And that's what we're trying to give you. And I can't be a good leader or a good course creator or just a good guide for you in your hero's journey without telling you something that's worked extremely well for me, which is core values. So let's get into it, starting with our first one, which is freedom through the work. So I'll go back here to our slides. And what I want to show you here is just kind of some bullet points. I want to talk through each one of these bullet points. You can read what I put here, but I'm going to be talking through each one of these bullet points. And I want you to watch this a couple of times, because as you learn, these are things that you truly need to understand and actively think about. So I would love for you to write these down and put these in front of your face somewhere. Get a piece of paper, write them out with a marker, and slap them on somewhere in your office so you can be reminded of these and you can point to these and say, did my actions align to the core values that I have, right? Of an entrepreneur, of the mindset of a successful entrepreneur, or did it not? And then I have an honest opinion of the win that you either got that day or the honest opinion, I didn't win that day because my actions didn't align with that. And the first one, again, is freedom through the work. Part of freedom through the work is embracing failure. Freedom will be achieved through the work, meaning that I can get to that thing that I consider freedom through daily effort, through daily work, through stacking wins day after day after day after day, as many days in a row or just in total that I can. But understanding that failure is part of that work. I have to stress, if it wasn't part of that work, you wouldn't value that freedom as much to begin with when you truly achieve it, because it took all those failures. Think of a game that you win. How many times did you fail in practice? And you finally get, or even in the game itself, and then you win, and how good that felt. It only felt that good because you know what it felt like to fail. And so failure is part of the equation. If we look at it as an opportunity to learn, we understand that it's part of the work itself. Now, some of these things might sound familiar down the road. Like I'm going to talk about failure again in another core value, maybe more than one. But no, the reason for that is that this is that core aspect of, again, it's part of the equation, but we're looking at it through the work angle now. I'm working knowing I may fail. Perfectionism or thinking I can't take the risk because it's not perfect yet will hold you back and will actually prevent your growth in the first place. So we know that failure is going to be part of that daily work that we have, and we can only achieve freedom if failure is a part of it. Now, we're going to have to develop emotional intelligence. If you don't know what emotional intelligence is, it's essentially the ability to manage your emotions through adversity is a good way of looking at it, right? If you have stress, which you will as an entrepreneur, if you have criticism from others about your work, from your friends or from other peers or even yourself, you have to react to these moments with as much calm and collective emotional behaviors as possible, keeping those emotions lowered so I can still react logically. Is there valid pieces of that criticism? Perhaps. Take those valid pieces, right? Is stress a cause for me to blow up everything and move away and never do anything with this aspect of my job again or of the business as a whole? Probably not. Can we lower our stress and work through the criticism, through the stress itself, through the emotions that we have? That's what we need to do. Now, how do you do that? Practice, unfortunately. There's other things to do I love, and I'll talk about here in a second. I love actually talking with other people who have been there before, support group or a mentor or something like that, because that gives you perspective. And if you understand that your issues are not just your issues, they're common issues that most entrepreneurs go through, You're not the only entrepreneur with stress. We all have it. Then you realize I'm not alone. This is actually part of the journey again, right? Similar to the first point. And also, something we'll talk about often is physical exercise. I lift, I walk, I get away from my computer in moments of stress so I can look at it from more of a 10,000 foot level. If you're just knee deep in something, it's harder for you to see outside that. You get siloed. And sometimes I find myself on a walk, otherwise I'm right here at this computer every day, doing nothing but being at this computer or in this house, and go out and I think, I move, my physical state gets changed. And it helps me have that emotional intelligence, making sure that I am seeing things from a logical point of view and not an emotional point of view. Now, build a support network. This is where a lot of people screw up. Now, if you're inside of our incubator program, you have a support network, but do you utilize it? Do you utilize it in your daily life, the ones that you actually matter? As a person that's, I'll address each one of these things, but as a person who's gone through 15 years of being an entrepreneur, almost 15 years of being an entrepreneur, I can tell you that most people will not understand what you're doing, and that's okay. But the friends and the family that you should align with and spend your time with are the ones who don't know what's going on. Maybe they do, but most likely they don't. But they back you up anyway. And think, oh my God, that's great. Good for you. There's a lot of people, when you start trying to make a change, that will try to pull you back into the bucket, the crab mentality metaphor. They are in the bucket and they want to pull you back in. These people are not your support network. They are actually doing it for themselves versus doing it for you. My closest friends, after all of these years, the friends, I say something crazy like I'm going to sell t-shirts online, or I'm going to lose 100 pounds, or I'm not going to drink for 75 days, or I'm not going to do these things. And they say, cool, can we hang out tomorrow still? Cool, you're not going to drink? Can we still go golfing tomorrow? Can you still watch the game on Sunday? Can we still go out, see this comedian or whatever, hang out? Those are the people that have your back and want to spend genuine time with you versus just being with you because you do the same things. You both drink, you both have bad habits together. Those things become apparent as you are an entrepreneur because what you are doing is odd. But it's being done because you know what can be achieved, what reward is at the end of it, that freedom. Now, peers are only as good as people that similar to you. If you built like an incubator, you have a Facebook group full of people who are your peers, and they are only as good as the effort that you put into it. If you're expecting everyone to give to you, but you're not giving anything to anyone else, it's a one-sided equation, and those never work out. So if you give as much as you possibly can, as much as you can possibly muster, you will receive, trust me. And even in the act of giving in those equations, trying to answer a question for somebody else, you will have clarity, maybe on your own problem, because you're seeing it through a different angle. You're bringing yourself out that silo that I talked about earlier, and that's important. And then mentors. Mentors, people who are your guides on your hero's journey. Again, with Incubator, I am not the hero of Incubator. You are the hero inside Incubator. I am the guy that's been there before, just as I have mentors who have been in my shoes before, because most of the problems are the same. Now, again, the underlying tone of all of these things is it requires work. These bullet points are about work. It takes work in order to fail, which is part of the journey. It takes work to develop emotional intelligence, and it takes work to have successful mentor relationships or peer relationships or the family and friends. Those relationships take work as well. So remember that. It is about, if you're wondering, why am I talking about these things? It's because it's involved. So staying committed to your goals, something, again, that takes a lot of work, is you constantly should think about your long-term goals. People who get burnt out or lose focus do not achieve the goals that they set out for. And then they wonder what happened. They wonder why they're so depressed or they stop working or they don't do anything, because they lost focus on the reason they were doing it in the first place. It takes work. You want that freedom, you do the work of thinking about your goal, the freedom, and putting it on a vision board, put it in right in front of your face. Look at it every single day. Put it as your background on your computer, on your phone. So you see it all the time and you're constantly thinking about it. And if you really want it, you will work at it. I stress that to you. If you really want it, you will not watch Netflix for 4 hours a week. Instead, work on 4 hours of your business. You'll work an hour every Saturday. I'm not saying these are mandatory. I'm saying these are the decisions you need to make. If you work on Saturdays, 1 hour every Saturday for an entire year, you get over an extra whole week of work. Think how much further you could be. That's an extra 52 hours a year, more than a work week of 40 hours, just by doing 1 hour of concentrated work. Now, practicing self-care. You are your business. You are the business. So if you are not operating physically and mentally at your peak, then your business will not operate that way. It could have maybe years ago, when we didn't have as many distractions, as we didn't have any things bombarding us. That's something a lot of people don't talk about, is the amplification, the number of things telling us we're not as good. Pull up social media. Probably the first thing you'll get is somebody that's, you think is better looking than you, or in better physical shape than you, or doing all these different things than you, or is working harder than you, or has achieved some goal that you want, and it's bombarding you. You can, be sad about that, think you're not as good, or you can understand the best way for you to combat all these things attacking you is to be stronger in every area, mentally and physically, and your business will benefit from it. I'm not saying you have to be a bodybuilder, but I am saying that you will operate better if you physically move every single day in one way or another. Walking is perfectly fine. I walk every single day. I strap a weight vest on my back most days, but I just walk. I don't run, I don't sprint, and I also work out in the gym. I perform better as an entrepreneur and a father and a husband because I am in better physical shape. If you want to talk about handling stress better, work out in the gym or outside, or a physical load on your body will literally help you mentally achieve more. And mental work can be reading books that improve some area of your business, seeking knowledge, watching this course, improving it, but also, into the last part, implement daily on all the things I just talked about, the workouts, the moving your body, taking care of yourself, raising your own personal standards. Freedom will be achieved if you work on it, but you can only do that if you do it daily. Because what you need to do is build habits and break existing habits. And if you do not do it daily, it will not become a habit. I hate to break it to you. It requires your dedication. If you really want it, it shouldn't be that hard to convince you to do it daily. Taking bits and pieces of courses that you have. How much time do you have? Probably more than you think. Prioritizing your life to say, okay, maybe again, Netflix is not worth the time. So if I drop that out, or maybe if I don't take a lunch break where I have a couple of beers or I slack off in my car or I do whatever, and I take that same time to eat and also watch or read or learn or implement. I don't take lunch breaks. I can sit at my desk and work at the same time. I don't watch TV shows. They don't add any value to my life. What I do is find a way every day to read, to digest content that will benefit me, and then I implement it. Implementing these things daily will break old habits and form new habits. And eventually, you will have a new standard of your way, your operating system, that is freedom through the work. You understand that you're in a mode, instead of status quo, your mode is freedom through the work. I hope that's extremely clear. Most people operate in an existing way. That's what a corporate job is very, very good at doing for you. What the school system, to be honest with you, sets you up for. Bell rings, you do this. Bell rings, you go do that. End of the day, you do this. That keeps you existing. Corporate job, same thing. You got to be here at this time, you got to be here at that time, you got this task to do. Entrepreneurs do more. Entrepreneurs set the schedule. They're not given the schedule. Entrepreneurs fill in their time, set their meetings. They're not set for them. Entrepreneurs exist in a 24-hour day, not a 9 to 5. And so if you can take anything from this specific core value work, understanding freedom through the work, is that you need to take this core value as a call to change your status quo from existing to constant improvement through freedom through work, every day, implement. Eventually it becomes a habit. Might have repeated myself a couple times there, but it's exactly what needs to be said a couple of times for you to have it stick. Break old habits, form new ones through daily implementation. Take, learn, act. Over and over and over again, and sooner or later, only a matter of time, you will find that being your your operating system. And that sets you on the right path to be an entrepreneur and a successful one at that. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one.